Ray's skeletons are revealed. Rita is not really Rita. And where the hell is Margaret? The American Horror Story After Show starts now.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it. It is 1984 in the house, y'all. I'm digging this. Y'all digging this?
Such a vibe.
Slashdance. So the episode is called Slashdance, therefore must have Flashdance involved.
I would slash dance to this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? We are here for American Horror Story 1984, episode 3.
Absolutely.
Season 9. Slashdance, as we've talked about it. I'm your host, Ollie Drennan. Unfortunately, Elena got axed last episode.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. She's fine. Someone else got axed this episode, unfortunately. I'm joined by an amazing panel. We have our amazing live chat moderator.
Yes.
Who might you be?
Hi, my lovely viewers. What's up, everyone? I'm Kayla Renee.
Yes, and next to her is you're also a horror fan, clearly.
Oh,
Hello, why else are you here? Horror fans only, but next to her is another horror fan. She is our special segment, Crypt Keeper, right?
Yes.
You know? And who are you?
My name is Alexa Cappiello, and I am the Crypt Keeper of the group.
I love this round of applause.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. All my impressions will have to come with an applause.
You're welcome.
Yes. Shout out to Ryan in the booth. He's keeping us, good and nasty and evil.
Good and nasty.
Good
What
and
a
nasty.
feeling it is to be with you all.
Yes,
Aw.
and as I mentioned, we have a live chat. Let us know what you thought of the episode.
Absolutely. You guys are already on it as usual.
Heck
Shout out to
yes.
Nicholas Kelly, Gracie and Ryan, SS, Laviri. We'll get into that later on.
Oh my God.
But yes. All of our viewers, so many people right now, so many topics.
Because it was such a
and
good
predictions.
episode, so they're all here like, we need to talk about it. And we're
Absolutely.
excited to talk about
Love
it with
it.
y'all.
Yeah, I love Nicholas Kelly, by the way. I love you. You're the best. Just don't kill us. Don't don't come for us. Anyways, be nice. We got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Rita.
Absolutely.
We got to talk about, or not even Rita, Donna, or no, what's it? Donna?
No,
Dawn
Donna
Chambers.
Chambers.
Donna Chambers.
That's her real name.
We got to talk about Montana and Ray. This was a Ray-centric episode, which I was here for.
Absolutely.
We got our news, our special segment, and predictions. But first, initial thoughts. Initial thoughts, y'all.
Oliver,
What did you think?
I was on the edge of my seat because this episode was so good, you guys. I think this is it's only episode 3, but it's already my favorite one so far. The introduction episode was a good one. It's like, okay, we started it off, but no, this one, whoa, so much happened from beginning to literally end. Even just like the next scenes or whatever for next week, but so much to talk about. So I'm super excited.
I'm excited
Dive
with
in.
you.
Agreed. I could not catch my breath, man. There was stuff happening.
Were you just running the whole time?
Yes, I was
watching it?
running like Brooke was running, and Ray was running through the whole episode. It was action packed. There were sharp turns. Oh, I'm sorry. As I smack her, there were sharp turns.
Slash right out the gate.
The biggest takeaway is that people are not who they seem to
Right.
be,
No.
and that is definitely what I talked about. I think our first panel was like, oh gosh, I really hope that we get to delve into these characters and they aren't who they
Right.
really are, or the tropes are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Who the hell can we trust?
No,
exactly,
totally.
nobody.
That's why what stood out to me in the first episode, I wasn't here I got axed in the second episode, actually. I wasn't here last week, but I remember in the first episode, the line that stuck out the line that stuck out for me was it was, I think Ray said it, like, you're from LA, or like some people, you don't really know people in LA. And so I feel like they're really diving into that.
Xavier said that. Yeah. I remember that.
It was Xavier? Oh.
Who, by the way, is,
all right.
I think, honestly, my favorite character.
I said that from day one.
Yeah,
I told
like
that Xavier is definitely my character from day one.
He's kind of into himself, and like, he's cute.
We definitely thought he was like the douchey character,
we
and now
thought he
he's
was
like the
gonna be.
heartthrob. It's like, oh, America's sweetheart.
He's the one.
Nope.
He's the only one with like a moral compass.
Well, now,
right now, which is kind of sad, to be honest. He's the only one, but it's fine.
Yes. It's very fine. I agree with you. I thought this was such an amazing episode. I think a lot of people were worried before the season started, was like, how are you going, even us, like we were kind of skeptical a little bit. We love the 80s theme clearly, but like, how are we going to jam like a night or like 2 days worth into a whole entire season? But I think they're doing a great job by implementing the flashbacks, implementing the backstory, because in 80s movies, horror movies, slashers, we don't get the backstory of our characters ever. Maybe our final girl, she has to have that.
Absolutely.
We have to have sympathy for our final girl, but we want to know characters like Ray and even like strange Loomis-like characters like Rita, or not Rita, Donna Chambers. Speaking of her,
I was gonna say, let's get into this.
she's our first topic because, I was feeling my Rita. Angelica, you're killing it. I love her so much. I'm going to miss you on Pose, but I'm so excited for your future of possibly being in, future installments of American Horror Story. So, okay, so Rita is not really the nurse. She is a psychologist trying to figure out, like I said, kind of like the Loomis-like character from Halloween. She is trying to get in and infiltrate Mr. Jingles and find out what makes him tick.
Yeah.
She interviewed Ted Bundy. She interviewed Willem Bonnet, Patrick Keeney. Like all of these serial killers.
I knew their like nicknames too. It was definitely giving me like Hannibal Lecter, Clarice vibes, because Clarice was definitely all like into like trying to dissect Hannibal Lecter and figure out like what was in his mind and stuff. So I definitely got that vibe. But yeah, I was like, to know that she wasn't Rita. Dang it, Angelica.
Her methods are a little shady.
I know.
A little.
She's got something against pornography. She keeps
For
on
sure.
mentioning that over and over. Increased pornography.
That's what Ted Bundy said. She
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Twice, but like I don't know if it's just because of Ted Bundy or more like her issue with it.
She's super interesting
Yeah.
because I think reason why I'm kind of standing her still. I know people are like screw Donna at this point, but like I like what she said. Like people aren't irredeemable. Like she doesn't believe in people being like completely evil. So I think there's so much of a gray area to explore with her. I think she's definitely not the antagonist by any means, but she's definitely a gray kind of centric character, and I want to know even more about her.
Yeah, because something's up with her. Feeding Brooke like horse tranquilizers.
Damn.
And I was like, what?
She
So
really
I'm
did
like,
Brooke dirty.
I know, I'm
I
like,
agree
oh.
with you, but like what she did to Brooke, I was, dang girl, you are just going for it.
I was like, oh, poor Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's like the common theme through the whole
But
show.
I'm like, something's up with Brooke because it's like Emma Roberts is always like the bitch. So
so therefore
always,
she must be in this show.
She
I
does
know.
always have something up her sleeve, so it's like, I don't know.
Well, I think all the characters are going to come out with something about them that we're
Some
like,
kind of
oh, you're not,
skeletons.
skeletons, basically.
right. I was gonna say something else. I loved the scene of Rita. I keep calling her Rita. The real Rita. What did you think of the real Rita? And then
I know.
Donna
That was so
stalking
creepy.
her. I thought she killed her, but I guess we can talk about it later. But like, I loved seeing Angelica just kind of become like the predator.
Yeah.
And how poor little Rita, I felt so bad for her. She didn't know what she was getting herself into. But never visit a gas station in a horror like genre.
She's
But
all
just
lottie
don't.
dotty dotty singing, here
Yeah.
she comes. It's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, because
Girl,
Donna's in your back seat,
how
so
many of
she
you guys
is
have
coming.
seen Zombieland? Always check the back seats.
You know what's funny? I literally get in my car and look in my back seat. And the funny
Always.
thing is my windows are like not tinted, so it's like you can clearly see into my car. But it's like I'm for sure like always checking the back seat when I sit
And
down.
double tap. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to bang on this.
This is why you guys are on this panel. You look behind the seat, you double tap. I'm the one who's gonna die first in this horror movie because I don't do either of those. Because
You better check the back seat, Oliver.
no, I don't
Tonight.
No, I don't because I'm like, who's gonna go into a Prius and like, who's gonna go?
The Night
rob-
Stalker,
I'm next. I'm gonna be next,
Mr.
y'all.
Jingles.
Any more thoughts on Rita? Anyone in the chat want to delve into
let's
Rita?
see. So, let's see.
The way
we
she.
have a hashtag going on in the chat right now.
Ooh, what is it?
Ooh.
It's Ray had it coming.
Oh my gosh, shout out to all of our viewers. You guys, we just got notified that we have a hashtag going right now. So Ray had it coming.
He had it coming.
It's funny because a lot of our viewers, you guys are saying that this was Ray's karma and stuff like that. We'll get into Ray in just a second.
Yes,
but let me see. So Renji90998 said, I thought maybe Emma would actually be the psycho instead of the typical final girl. Let me see. But he also said, or the Joker or Harley Quinn. Donna looked like she could be Mr. Jingles. Let me see.
Well, I'm like, where's Margaret?
So
I
that's
know,
what I was
right?
gonna say. So we got Rita over here talking about how sacrifices need to be made in the name of science, and we got Margaret over here saying that sacrifices need to be made in the name of the Bible. So they're like both kind of these like crazy women with their sacrifice.
I feel like everybody,
torches.
for some reason, I'm getting in this episode that everybody kind of has a shaky or shady past. Like, I
Right.
don't know if I want to quite say it's like a killer past, but everybody kind of has some like some, what do you call it? Like some meeting with like death almost.
Right.
Like some type of introduction to death almost.
Well, I always say, like, in the horror genre, like, if you accidentally, like, kill, or whether you accidentally kill or kill, like, an innocent, if you're tied to any kind of, like, murder, you're gonna die.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. But, like, any more thoughts on, like, Rita before we move on? Because I'm ready to dive into it.
One last question. In order to make Mr. Jingles stop killing, she said, you have to be redeemed, and the way to do it is I'll just release you back to the camp so that you can continue murdering, so that I can just watch you while you murder to figure out why you're murdering. I just didn't understand.
To be honest, that was
the
kind of an intense
mentality.
Conversation between like her and Mr. Jingles or Benjamin Richter or whatever, because he was even saying like the first thing that he said or whatever was like, I'm like this because of high fructose corn syrup.
Well,
that was like joking, but it was just like, okay, sir. But it's like, I don't know. I kind of want to see how far this goes.
Well, I wonder, like, she's so fixated on Mr. Jingles. Why isn't she? Is she not aware of Richard or Richard?
The Night Stalker?
Richard, the Night Stalker. Is she? What's up with that? Like, she's so focused on him. Does she even know he exists?
He's probably new on the scene, and she hasn't just got to the
Maybe.
articles yet of like all his killing.
Well,
He's
already,
a fresh serial killer.
We brought up, having a past and like the past skeletons in your closet. Ray. Okay.
Ooh,
Before
let's
we
talk
get
about Ray.
before we get
I'm
on
so
to
sad.
his fate, we learned a lot about him and why he's so gung ho about becoming, a camp counselor, getting out of LA, because in his junior year, he was at
Omega Z.
Omega Z.
Omega Xi.
Omega
Oh,
Xi.
Zai. Yeah, you're right.
Not my forte, unfortunately, just because looking at me, I was never a part of a fraternity. People.
I wanted to be in a sorority so bad and just never did because my
I
college was
rushed.
just like, but
They wanted me to be in one. I was like,
Oh my
nah, girl.
gosh.
Please.
I wasn't
wanted
made
to
for
be in a
Hell Week,
sorority.
really?
You wanted to be. They always had like the cool little tea parties and stuff. I wanted to be in a fraternity. I didn't want to haze though. That looked miserable.
No,
Yes.
yeah, hazing for guys just seemed like that was like a whole
crap.
nother level. I'd be like terrified, like, okay, I quit.
Speaking of the hazing, Ray, despite the hazing, I feel like he did care about this character, Chan, who's another minority. He was Asian. Clearly, Ray is black. And so he was really like, he had a soft spot for Chan, and Chan was drunk. They're about to go into the next hazing process. This is just very horrible to even watch. It was very cringeworthy. But unfortunately, Chan kind of has an accident of falling down the stairs. Ray automatically thinks he's dead. He's like, oh, I got to protect the fraternity,
school, the
my
fraternity, like,
name.
But
I
mostly
know.
himself.
Yeah, he was definitely
Let's
like,
really think
this
about
can't be
it.
on my conscience. He's like, I can't.
I
let
feel
this
like
happen.
there was an easier way, Ray. It really was. Next thing we know, he's at a cliff with the car. I don't even know whose car it is. Maybe it's Chan's. But anyways, he rolls it off the cliff. But unbeknownst to him, until it's too late, poor Chan is actually still alive, and he rolls off the cliff still alive. And doesn't he take like Ray's
His watch.
watch?
Yeah.
Thoughts? Because I just like word vomit.
It's kind of weird because like going to the car scene when Chan was like grabbing onto his wrist, I noticed there was scratch marks that left him bleeding.
You heard it.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, okay, that's what knocked off the watch. But at the same time, how come we never noticed? Like nobody ever noticed like scars on Ray's arm to ask him like why. But I don't know. I think Ray's character is definitely like struggling with his identity. He doesn't know who he is. Because remember, my first prediction was like he's like that kind of like not really nerdy kid, but that kid like wanting to fit in, like wanting to be like pick me. He doesn't want to be the last person picked in PE or whatever, like trying to be cool with Xavier. So I'm like, I don't know. He's always trying to like one up somebody to show how cool he is, and it's always taken him back. Like it seems like for the last 3 episodes, everything that he's done has kind of been like almost like a humbling situation a little bit, or like it almost like teaches him a lesson almost.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
For me, I always just felt like Ray was super antsy, and I was like, why is he so like antsy, like all the time? And now we figured it out. But I really loved his line to what was it, Chan? Guys like us have to work twice as hard.
Yeah, for
to be
minority stuff.
accepted.
Because everyone else I noticed was white.
I was like, wow, I didn't
in
think
that
about that.
fraternity.
And that just slapped me across the face. I was like, damn, like that was really cool. I really liked that they had that line in there. Thank you for that sound effect, Ryan. I appreciate that.
Jeez.
I'm glad it was inclusive because it's like, it's kind of like in today's society, it's always just kind of been hard for like minorities to even get into anything or even be accepted into anything like that. So like for Ryan to include that into something that was like in the 80s was still kind of like, I like that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then also,
relevance.
I wanted to talk about why why Ray felt the need to go from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? Like, Chan falls down the stairs. He's like, oh my gosh, I obviously need to cover this whole murder up. And then my next step is going to be to put him in a car and toss him off a cliff. Like, there are other ways to dispose of a body.
Do you have experience?
I thought about this very deeply. So, I mean, we've all thought about how we might get away with murder.
This is why she's on the panel.
Exactly.
No, we're just
I don't know.
next
Ray's such an opportunist, though, because it's like for being in a frat, it's like, how do you not know how being drunk that is? So it's like for him to fall down the stairs, he was clearly just knocked out, and it may have seemed like he's dead because he's already freaking drunk.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, why do you think he's automatically dead, and you don't even take him to the
no pulse,
nothing?
I'm sure there's like a on campus hospital or something. 24 hours, right?
Freaked out and went to the worst possible scenario.
He's very impulsive.
Yeah.
I remember
super impulsive.
You know, we learned the story. He was telling it to Chet. Poor Chet. My Chet. You know, he's been a douchebag for like the past 2 episodes, but I'm biased because I love me my Gus. But he was crying and whining like a poor little puppy because he got impaled on his shoulder, and he was Ray told Chet this, and he's stuck. And then Chet leaves. He meets up with some of the other campers and what's his face, Trevor, but he's just so impulsive. We know this because then he goes with Montana with the whole motorcycle, and we know how this ends. So he's just not thinking and processing right.
He's such a liar that it's like he can't keep up with his lies, though. Like his lies are kind of like catching up to him.
He's always running.
Yeah, that too. He's literally like running from everything.
Yeah, he's
and
running.
That's so sad.
And I think you're right on the impulsive end. I think he just reacts and doesn't really think about
where's
consequences.
everybody? Yeah, I don't know.
And is obviously very, very selfish.
And he kind of lost his head in the process.
Yeah,
very sad.
Thought he was gonna get away. To be honest, like when Trevor said that, like he was like, "Hey, be careful on the bike because like if you do something wrong or whatever, it could throw you off or whatever." I literally thought he was gonna get thrown off the bike. Like I honestly didn't see Mr. Jingles come in like to be like, there's your head over there, Ray. Sorry.
I kind of think they did him a little bit of a disservice by killing him off so quickly. Like I wanted to see.
It is the third episode,
right?
I was shocked because I'm like, okay, well, the whole watch thing, I feel like that was going to come up. And obviously, like, Ray, he seemed like he was going to have a bigger part. Yeah. I thought he was kind of going to get in with Brooke or something. I feel like they were kind of hinting some kind of...
I thought that was going to happen.
So fast, but typical. In typical fashion, they always kill the black person off first.
I saw that too. I was like, really, guys?
He's the first main character killed off.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that because I feel like now Angelica's the only character of color now, right? Of the main cast. So that's a little upsetting. But I'm still wondering, I guess...
Unless he comes back as a ghost.
Right, the hitchhiker who keeps coming back.
Right.
I guess that's more predictions, but I'll save my predictions. Any more thoughts? Anything in the live chat about Ray's backstory? Anything we missing?
I got something for you guys.
Yes.
This is
What's
crazy.
up, Brian?
And this might just be because it just aired.
Yes.
But on IMDb, this is the second highest rated episode right now.
Oh.
I mean,
Shout out
it
to
was
the
a
viewers.
really, really good episode.
was good.
It was
and
a
the
really good
pacing was
episode.
phenomenal. I was jumping out of my seat like, oh my God. I couldn't keep up. I was writing so
I know.
fast.
I was like, I wanted to pause it.
And of course, the cliffhanger at the end. I didn't see that coming.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Well, yeah, of course. But I just wanted to say that was like a moment for
Definitely.
me.
You know, our guy Nicholas Kelly is in here. He says, Kayla, do you think that Camp Redwood could very well be yet another hellmouth from all the accumulated murders and spirits attached to the place? First Ray, soon enough Chet, since they are still on the property.
Oh my God.
That's
like
true.
Murder
I'm
House.
like, yeah, it could be like the little ghosts that are going to come back. They could all be serial killers. Who knows? We'll save that for predictions.
Oh
we're
my
I'm like, we're getting a
God.
little predictably.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. That almost seems too good to be true.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else before? Because I'm about to say something.
Everybody's in here with hashtags, you guys. Like, sorry. Look, people. Billie Jean Girl 24 says sorry, not sorry, Ray. Renji 90998 says the headless rider. Like, this is so funny. Ray had it come in. You guys are hilarious with the hashtags. Keep them coming.
Ghost Rider. He's gonna be Ghost
Ghost
Rider.
Rider.
He is. It's going to be Ghost Rider.
That's
Okay.
a good one.
Before I get to, I did not mention this. I completely forgot because I'm an idiot. Before we get to the big twist with Montana, if that is her real name, because I don't trust anyone anymore.
Yeah,
on
I
this
definitely
show.
don't trust anybody.
What were your thoughts on going back to Mr. Jingles? I know I'm kind of backtracking, but there was a huge thing with his talk with Rita. Donna, sorry.
It's okay. We know who you're referring to.
He said he didn't remember killing
The kids.
So I wonder if, like, what were your thoughts on that? Do you think he's just saying that? Do you think there's some kind of outside force that's controlling him.
I'm glad we circled back to that.
Aliens. Aliens. I'm still
Area
convinced.
51. No, but yeah, I kind of caught that too, because when she showed him the article or whatever, his finger automatically went to Margaret. And then he was just like, I can't look at her, like, because it's like I'm automatically gonna think of like stabbing her over and over again. So it's like it had to be something like I don't know, a lot of our viewers actually predicted this a while ago, that she was probably the one who did something that led this like chain reaction, and he was the one who ended up taking the fall for it. I got blamed for it. I mean, because he was probably the only adult at the camp. I don't know, like
maybe there's some major drugs happening, because we already know they have horse tranquilizers just, on property for whatever purpose.
I think
at a camp.
I think that's just Donna probably taking them from all of these asylums that she's been visiting, all these serial killers. She's probably like,
she might have a horse ranch.
But all I'm saying is maybe Margaret altered Mr. Jingles in some way via drugs, and like, I don't know, maybe that's how we didn't remember.
Yeah, because I mean, he admitted that he wasn't a killer before that whole like Vietnam, went to the war, and then coming back, and like people are already kind of like messing with his mind and his head. So it was like, I don't know.
I know. I don't trust Margaret. I already said this previously. There's something wrong with her. She wasn't in this episode, other than besides being in that newspaper. Like I said,
maybe what's it called when you're hypnotized? Maybe like hypnotized.
She did it. She hypnotized.
Yeah, possibly.
Ooh.
These are all things.
She's a little witch.
Yeah, she might be.
She's coming.
She might be a witch, and like just hiding behind Christianity.
That's a prediction right there. But dang it, I was gonna say something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Oliver.
How dare you? You're the next on my list.
No, wait. Oh my God, we totally forgot about these little prankster kids that
who are dressing up because it's the anniversary of Mr. Jingles, and they're getting killed off one by one, which I also really like, because we're like horror, so we want to see people get killed because we're totally fine and not psychotic people. So it's nice to kind of have like all this cannon fodder of the people dressing up as Mr. Jingles, and also Rita. She kind of died in this episode too. Were you gonna say something else about?
No, I'm kind of sad that like the little asthmatic, like what is it, asthmatic nerdy kid, like got killed. I literally thought that he was gonna like Jingles was gonna recruit him. Yeah. Because for him to be like face to face with him, and he's like, what the hell is up with this kid? And he's like, whatever. Like this guy's like got an inhaler, he can't even breathe. He's all stumbling over, tripping over rocks and logs and stuff. I think it was cute. It was like a cute little moment, but then it was like, dang, Trevor thought he was a hero and was like, oh, these guns. Boom, boom. And little nerdy kid.
It was kind of cool watching Mr. Jingles, first off, not killing him immediately, which he has done with pretty much every other person prior to that. But I think the reason behind that was to show, like, Mr. Jingles has a soft spot, and has and the way he was talking, the kid was talking to him like, oh my God, I want to be as cool as Mr. Jingles is. Like, I just want to feel cool, and that's why I like wearing this mask. And maybe Mr. Jingles was like, well, I can certainly
he kind of related.
To that.
Yeah, it was like almost he kind of related. I felt bad. He was like, oh, I know my mom paid you guys, but I just want to hang out for the night, you guys. It's like,
it was cool. It was cool to see him humanized just a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
We didn't even get his name. Damn.
I know.
Jingles Jr.
Asthma dude.
I got really excited because I totally thought that was Chaz Bono. Like, it looked like Chaz Bono. Do you know Chaz Bono? He's been in previous American Horror Stories, but
to be honest, I thought it was.
It looked a little bit like Chaz's face, but probably not. But I just, I love seeing. It
honestly sounded like Oh my God, I'm going. Josh. Oh my gosh, Josh. I think it starts with a G. No, not Peck. He was in. I can't even think of it. Like I can't even. No, not him. He was in like that wedding movie with Kevin Hart. He played like the nerdy guy that he was trying to think, and then he was in. I don't even know his last name, but I'm like, if we can get a picture of him.
I know so many Joshes.
Because he was in Beauty and the Beast too, and he played Gaston's little like flunky.
Oh, Josh! Oh
my God! Is it?
Dang
like,
it!
Oh my God! Like I'm so mad.
Help us in the chat.
Like I know. Help us in the chat. Josh. It starts with a G, I think. But I'm like, whatever. I'm like,
Josh Gad.
Dad. There you go. That's the voice that I was getting from the little nerdy kid. I thought it was Josh, and I was like, but I'm like, he could. I was like, no. I'm like, this kid is like a little young.
It's Robert Rodriguez. No.
It's Robert Rodriguez.
Sorry, y'all.
That was funny.
We were running away from the show just like Ray. So
Josh
circling back,
shout out to Gracie and Ray.
Let's get into kind of the ending and the aftermath. Kind of picking up. Everyone kind of reunites, but then they split up again. So why don't we just get on to the twist? The twist of we see the beheading of Ray. Unfortunately, R.I.P. Maybe you had it coming though. But we see Richard pop up, and I'm already thinking Richard's about to have his way with Montana, or maybe Montana's gonna have her. She is our freak, okay, and more power to her. She bites his lip, and I'm thinking she's gonna like beat him with something.
She's into some
Yo,
kinky shit.
did anyone think that it was gonna be like scary movie typical thing where like Ray was gonna be on the bike and then do a reverse and come around and run over Richard?
Yeah, I thought so.
I was getting vibes. I was like, oh, okay, Ray's gonna come and like run him over, because it was kind of like that close up again, like the camera moving into Richard, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get ran over. Next thing on Montana,
they kiss and then okay, I got questions.
Yes.
Okay, so why? Okay, so why do they want to kill Brooke? Is that who they're referring to?
Yes.
How does Montana, or how did Montana know her prior? Because I feel so.
And is it Brooke for sure?
And is it Brooke? And Richard Rodriguez takes aerobics class.
You know.
He was looking for a session, a lesson. I
do
don't
know that Richard Rodriguez in real life did have a girlfriend very similar to
Montana.
I don't know about similar to Montana, but similar to Ted Bundy, in that they're just women with like right in just loving serial killers apparently, and he married one of his fans basically.
That's how they always kind
They always do. There are women out there that just love them prison mates, the crazy ones too.
Little pen pal, hey.
But anyway, so Richard Rodriguez dating Montana. How do we all feel about that? Or dating, or
well, that's clearly. I don't want to get into predictions just yet, but I mean, it's clearly gonna throw a monkey wrench into like her relationship with Trevor. I don't think Trevor's gonna like that at all,
right?
Because she's already trying to hook up with Trevor.
Yeah,
I'm just like, dang it, Montana, boo you whore.
I'm pretty sure Trevor's gonna be like, oh, she doesn't want this massive schlong. Oh, okay,
this hot rod.
I guess I'll go try to put it over there with somebody else. Like he'll get over it pretty fast.
Really? I think he's gonna be like jealous. He's gonna be like, "What, Montana? She doesn't want these guns, this hot rod."
He's so disgusting,
isn't he? He's super pedophile.
Does the chat have anything to say about Trevor's schlong? Oh my God. It's massive.
Shout out to Gracie and Ryan. She says the only thing I trust at the moment is Trevor's bulge and Chet.
Chet.
I don't want to get impaled by that. That's
is Montana a witch? Ooh. Let's see.
Everyone's a witch.
Oh yeah! Shout out to everybody telling me it's Josh Gad. So many people like went hard in
This
here.
is why we have the live chat. We love you guys for educating
Shout
us.
out to Lieutenant Blanco. Renji 90998 says she thought that Montana was using her sexuality to distract the killer somehow.
Right. That's what I was thinking at first.
Yeah.
She was gonna have sex with him, throw him off. But no, they clearly probably had sex before.
I kind of did think that. I was like, she was kind of like gonna make out with him and kind of like knee him in the balls, like like a typical thing. But I don't know. This episode took us for like a whirlwind.
It really did.
She is the quote unquote slut. We don't slut shame here, but she's like the slut archetype apparently. But obviously, I think the show's gonna reinvent that with her and kind of.
Yeah, they've been reinventing all the archetypes, which is really cool.
I feel like they're gonna give Chet like some angelic type of thing, like him being the first one to kind of get like harmed and then like to actually be alive after it. It's like I don't know. They're gonna.
Did you guys feel bad for him like me?
I did. I felt bad for him.
Of course.
Oh yeah, Xavier. Your guys are like Xavier stands. You were like, what did you think about him? Stepping up.
Get
to the
down
plate
there, Xavier.
and saving him.
I do want to talk about Xavier, not just because I like him a lot, but because so I have a juxtaposition here.
Okay.
So Xavier, Ray, so they both caused a death. Xavier ran over the kid, right?
Oh yeah, he did.
Very first episode, Ray of course causes the death with Chang, but Ray chooses to run from the shame and the guilt, and Xavier decides, karma. He's like, it's karma coming through that door when he was talking about Mr. Jingles outside of the door before the episode. So he's like, okay, well, karma exists, so instead of me running from death and being a bad person, I'm going to try to put good into the world, and I'm going to try to save people and hopefully redeem myself from my past transgressions.
That's true. I'm kind of catching that theme of like first 3 episodes. It's literally like redemption versus oh my God, I'm like drawing a blank. Look, I'm like, what
versus
karma. There you go. I'm like karma versus. irredeemable.
Yeah.
There you go. No, I'm just kidding. It's like redemption versus karma. So it's like, it's kind of like hand in hand. Everything's like hand in hand. It's like if you did something that's like gonna bring karma back to you, now you're trying to like redeem yourself.
I mean, yeah. I mean, with karma, with Ray, I mean, that's basically what we saw. He just kept on running away and kept on doing bad things, and karma caught up with him. So maybe Mr. Jingles is just karma incarnated.
Ooh, or it could be like a reversal thing too. Or if it's like if you were in an opportunity to redeem yourself and
you choose
didn't,
not
now
to,
it's now karma is coming into it. Yeah, so it's like ooh.
Sucks because I feel like I was really rubbing up against Ray. I was warming up against Ray. Warming up to Ray.
Roaring, rubbing, it's all the same.
You know, but then I think we're seeing, like you brought up, like we're seeing a softer side to Xavier now. Or Xavier? Yes. And then we're kind of seeing a softer side to Chet a little bit. So yeah, we got to keep our eye on those. On those boys, because one of the boys just died. But any more thoughts before we move on to our special segment? No? Anything from Chet?
I'm like, a lot of people have a good couple predictions. Let's see. A lot of people are like asking questions, so I'll get to you guys when we get to predictions. You guys,
I'm excited. Special segment?
Oh yeah, special segment
Let's
time.
do this.
So our special segment is picking out kind of like the little Easter eggs of 80s slasher films in every episode. So I did a little research.
I was gonna say we need a little theme music for our little special segment. Just give me some, for sure, Psycho Life.
So, I don't know if y'all knew this, but there's a movie called The Final Terror, and it came out in 1983. And the camp in that, it's like sleepaway camp, of course, because that's where they're all set for the most part, called Camp Redwood. Dun, dun, dun.
We'll have to go back and watch this.
Movie night.
Yes, I know. Exactly. There's also a movie called Sleepaway Camp, also done in 1983. They have a transgender character in it, very similar to Angelica Ross as Rita. Donna. And no spoiler alert or whatever.
Should have said that.
Spoiler alert!
There we go. Spoiler alert.
Ryan is coming through today.
He is. There's a character called Angelica Baker who is transgender and winds up being the killer. And, it's like,
did you
she's
just
a girl?
spoil the whole season for us, Alexa?
She's a girl, and then, is a boy at the end. And I mean, like.
It's okay. The movie's been out for like 30 years.
Yes, of course. It has. But, this whole episode, well, not whole episode, but a lot of this episode was centered around Rita. So I figured I would bring up that little point. And it's like, they actually referenced that back in the 80s. And I feel like Ryan Murphy has been doing a really good job with representation.
Right.
In this season, especially with things in the 80s where they would just kind of be like hush hush about.
Right.
So
even like Sleepaway Camp, I feel like that was so progressive. And like that spawned some sequels as well. So I feel like just in the 80s alone, where people like, trans lives weren't even getting that like proper recognition, let alone in horror films.
It was like ashamed back then. Yeah, that, like,
anything
definitely.
LGBTQIA plus in horror, like for Ryan to do that in each season, having a queer character, whether they're gay, straight, or not straight. Sorry, I was quoting Gaga. Gay, straight, or bi. Whether they're gay, bi, lesbian, trans, queer, anything, that's not on the typical heteronormative spectrum. Like, it's amazing. It's horror, and it's so cool that such a diverse group of characters can be implemented into it on a mainstream level, because AHS is so popular.
I definitely love how woke Ryan is, because it's like every season has been like, even just the inclusive, staying on like relevance to stuff that's going on right now. Even like Apocalypse, like at the beginning, the first episode was like them in LA, like, oh, the world's ending, the president, and it's like all the stuff that we're like going through kind of like now. So I love how like inclusive he is. But yeah,
I want more characters from or actors from Pose to be on HS too. Not that I want them to die in Pose, but Billy Porter was on Apocalypse, so maybe
he did an amazing job on Apocalypse. Oh, I loved him on Apocalypse.
Thank you so much for our special segment and
You're so
educating us and all the AfterBuzzers out there. I believe
they're smart. They already know.
I believe Ryan in a booth has some news.
AfterBuzz TV news.
Let's do this, Ryan. You got some tea?
Report
I got
live,
some
Ryan.
news.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan?
So, first off, just gotta pull up my screen here. This is kind of dark, guys.
Uh-oh.
This is
What
about,
happened, Ryan?
This is about
We're excited.
some copycat killers.
There are 3 words that mean
This is about some copycat killers who were their kills were inspired by the series American Horror Story.
That is hella creepy.
That
A little
is
creepy, but kind of interesting. So
It is kind of
there was
interesting.
a woman named Brittany Dwyer who never quite fit in. She was obsessed with all
Typical.
things grim, odd, and she also spent a lot of her time doing drugs and watching American Horror Story. Needless to say, she decided to kill her grandfather.
Oh my
Sorry,
goodness.
it's not funny. To kill her grandfather and steal $100,000 of his life savings that was in his backyard shed. She claimed that this plot was inspired by a character on her favorite show, American Horror Story, Violet Harmon.
Oh my gosh.
The
Wait,
character-
which act though? Like, how did? Yeah, I'm
I
like
believe that's from the
first horror house, right?
Yeah, Horror House, and just absolutely crazy. She ended up only taking $30,000
Only.
but was immediately caught and is in jail today.
Wow.
So that has been your news and gossip.
Thanks, Ryan.
That was really interesting, Ryan. Thank you.
That was a great piece of news for
Thank
today's
you,
episode.
Ryan.
That's like really intriguing. You guys don't get out there. Like, this is like a little fictional show. I mean, non-fiction. What is it? Fictional.
It's fictional.
It's fictional. It's fictional.
I was like, which one
Definitely
is the fake
fictional.
one? No, so yeah, like this is a fictional show. You guys don't try this stuff at home, please.
Right.
On
no.
anybody you love, anybody surrounding.
That's not okay.
No neighbors, no
How
hate
dare she.
crimes, no cult stuff, no, let's refrain from that.
She's gonna be burning in hell with Misty Day up in there. Like, how dare she? That's terrible. You don't do that.
She's gonna keep
Grandpa.
living the same life over and over again until she makes it right.
Grandpa.
Ooh, okay. That's just so dark. but-
Also, did anyone get Psycho vibes from when Real Rita? Yes, thank you. Real Rita was driving and looking at her rearview mirror and like seeing somebody following her.
Definitely
like,
Vince
come on.
Vaughn, 90s psycho
I mean,
vibes.
I know
yeah,
that's not an 80s film, but I was getting some
loved
straight
it.
up Psycho vibes there. It was cool.
I also just loved it because it's like another, like, it's not at night at the camp. You know, we
Yeah.
get that, like, I like day scenes for some reason in slasher films because it's
Oh
like,
yeah, and then transgender. If we're talking transgender, we got Mother over here. You guys have seen Psycho, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm done talking about transgender and Psycho and everything.
I love it. That's what we're here. Anything in the live chat going on? Because we might be going on to some predictions soon.
Yeah, let's get into predictions.
All right, we're gonna do this. Here we go.
And now,
I'm scared.
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I like
Ooh, and we're in October, second day of October. Ooh, it's so mysterious. I love
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we've been in August, September.
September.
Y'all, it's been a horrible past few months. But anyways, let's get on to our predictions. We're in October. Spooky season has begun, and I'm so excited to kind of just tear into our predictions finally. I feel
Yes.
like I've been holding back, censoring myself.
They're all working together, damn it, to kill off Brooke.
What is so special about poor, quote unquote, poor Brooke?
Yeah.
What is? Because she just was with her
Her man.
yeah,
Her
who killed
fiancé.
himself because he thought she was cheating on him, but apparently she wasn't. But is she lying?
Ooh, what if the fiance was cheating with Montana?
What if? Yeah, Montana's got to have some kind but I wonder if that's too predictable. If that's if she's trying to kill Brooke because of that.
Her ex-lover was like, it's your fault my man is dead.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get married. He was supposed to leave you at the altar.
Well, I definitely think we're getting Montana's backstory for sure, along with maybe Richard's, because they're an item apparently.
They had a little fitness class fling.
Right. I'm excited to see another fitness montage.
I mean, it's. I mean, I thought very Freddy versus Jason when we saw
Jingles and Richard.
Jingles and Richard going at each other. I
know
was
that's
like,
not- yeah,
damn,
totally.
Freddy versus Jason
Yes,
happening.
for sure
so
happening.
So not 80s, but 'cause that's what 2000s.
I know. I know.
Why not?
I know. Why not?
I
have
mean,
two
throw it all
serial
in
killers?
there. All scary movies.
Honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen at this point because they're just going to flip something on us. Nobody is who they seem to be. So I'm excited to learn more about Brooke.
And
in
Ryan's not
particular.
going to leave it as predictable. We're not going to
No.
predict the whole rest of the
No,
season or the
we're
next
not.
episode now.
And I think we were even wrong about Margaret and Jingles being in cahoots, especially how Jingles was like, oh, I can't look at Margaret. I'm gonna want to kill her as soon as I look at her or whatever. I don't know. It's a lot. I'm
It'll be
overwhelmed.
interesting to see because in the next scenes or whatever, they actually come face to face too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
yes.
like, ooh,
Right. No, I'm
episode
excited.
4 already?
Because she was, I know I can't stand Margaret, but I was excited to see her because she was MIA.
No, she
And I think
sure
that's
was.
super shady that she was MIA in this episode.
But it is kind of weird though, because Jingles, when he sees Margaret, he's like, "I'm here to finish what I started." So it's kind of like, "Oh, did he?" Or look like it's like, "Did you kill the kids?" Or like, it's like, "Where are we going with this now?" I don't know.
What? Like,
But yeah, I can't trust anybody.
there's got to be some kind of outside force that's controlling him. You know, like I feel like that line really stood out to me. He didn't just say that just because. I just wonder what exactly is aliens. And also, what's up with Chef Birdie? She keeps getting name dropped here and there. There's something behind
We
her.
never see her.
We saw her in the first episode, but we didn't see her in the second. We didn't see her in the third, but she was in the preview for next week with, I think, Xavier. They're having a conversation, but there's something about her that I want to know more about her.
And I also want to know the significance of the ears. Why he collects ears.
That was like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing,
Well,
but I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not sure why it's gonna come out to be
It's
like
gotta
he's like
come
has
out
like a whole
soon.
necklace of ears and
Why?
stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Why in particular ears?
I wonder if it has something to do with like the Vietnam War and you know how like maybe like bombs going off and like I don't know, that's what it's like my first instinct of
Maybe
like
his ear got blown off.
Yeah, you just like bombs and PTSD triggering and I don't know. Anything in the live chat for prediction
Let's
wise?
see, you guys. So many predictions in here. Let's see. Let's go up a little bit. I kind of wonder what's gonna happen to Jingles though, because he seems like such a nice guy.
Well,
but
I
I'm
think
like,
that like to me, I still kind of reading him as a sympathetic villain. Like characters are the way they are for a reason, and I definitely think there's more to him than like Donna said. I said her name correctly this time. Like people aren't just like made evil. Like life happens to them in order to shape them and morph them into like this antagonist. If he is in fact the antagonist, Margaret might be the antagonist.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so I found a couple, you guys. Okay, so Nicholas Kelly, of course, he says, "Do you think that we are going to get any witches from Cordelia's year? I mean, we know good and well that Myrtle, Fiona, Bubbles, and Cordelia were alive this time. So do you think that by any chance that we could see one or two enter the camp unknowingly? Could it be one of the kids?" I don't know. Let's see. Billie Jean Girl 24 says, "The dumbest question asked in this episode, what the hell are you doing down there, Ched? I'm dying." This best response ever.
Oh yeah.
Gracie and Ryan said Montana may be related to Brooke's ex-fiance Joey Kavanaugh or her guy friend Bobby. Oh, let's see. Billy, she also predicts that it's going to end between like a Brooke and Montana fighting, or Brooke is going to end up killing her. I don't know.
I'm excited to see that. We love a cat fight. You know?
The funniest line to me was Xavier, "Chet can barely move and Jingles has a knife." It was when he was talking about to
All three of us can take
yeah,
him.
the three of us could take him. Chet can barely move and Jingles has a knife. like literally went up to the higher
stumbled.
register. And it was hilarious.
That's when he's like, "The guns," and he goes push the poor kid.
And that's
Pete
why
was his name. Pete was.
That's
the
why I
kid's
think
name.
Trevor's next. Okay, yeah, that's another question real quick before we wrap. Who do you think's gonna die next? I already said it. I think Trevor's gonna die next because he accidentally killed because he accidentally killed the innocent. If you kill an innocent, you're toast. You're toast. And like
You know
it's
what?
like to me, he doesn't have any strong ties. He's not a strong character as the rest of them are in my perspective.
I think they're going to keep him around a little longer because he's a big name.
Matthew
He's a
Morrison.
very big name.
Oh, that's what you also have to keep that in consideration.
He's a big actor and he's a draw to the show. So I think they're going to keep him around
I
a
could do
little
without
longer.
him. What about you? What you think?
Our next, I don't know. I'm like, as a main character, it could either just probably be Chet or Trevor. I don't know. I kind of do see Trevor because I don't know. I kind of see it like his character development. It isn't like is prominent like you were
what
talking
is
about.
it?
Like
It's
not.
kind of like Trevor and Xavier are kind of like on the same plane right now. I can't
Yeah.
really see too many differences except Trevor's kind of a little bit more of a douchebag right now, obviously. But they're both kind of like that same stereotype, same archetype. So unless they do some differences, or
Yes.
I could see him possibly getting thrown off. But I don't know. I think Chet might be next.
Oh, my Chet.
Chet might be next.
Well, as long as he gets an episode, and then he can die, okay? But I don't think Montana's going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
But let us know your predictions. If we got to wrap, unfortunately. But let us know your predictions in the comments below, or tweet us.
Tweet us.
Yes. Let us know, and slide into the DMs if you're not. If you're respectful and nice.
and like us and subscribe. We
Absolutely.
love having you guys
iTunes,
on
give us
board.
that 5-star rating. Spotify as well.
Absolutely. Like, share with all your friends. And until then, we're going to find my amazing, badass panel on social media.
Oh, look, I'm all looking at Alexa. It always goes to Alexa. I'm like, Alexa. You guys can follow me on Instagram at _Kayla Renee, or on Twitter at Catching K, and that's catching with the K.
You can find me on Instagram at Alexa Cappy, Cappy.
And you can follow me, Ollie Drennan, at Ollie Dreamer on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, give some love. Follow Elena Jordan at Elena Jordan.
Elena J. Jordan.
Elena J. Jordan, my bad girl.
Absolutely.
Until then, next week, episode 4, American Horror Story 1984. See you.
Look, shout out Carmen Alexis, Antonio Brooks, all these people, Scott Gropey. Love you guys. Thank you.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.